Now on today's video, I'm going to try to show how we combine two things on the same day. It was a very, very good day to paint. And what I tried to do is number one priority was to get the BMW fairing. The HP2 fairing gets some of the clear on, and as long as the day played out. But then in between times that we were waiting for clear coats to dry, I got to do some of the clear coating on the Buell. And because the Buell needs so much extra clear, especially around the area of that horse's head, I thought this would be a good way to add some efficiency to today's job. Now we have waited patiently for this day. We want to work on Vlad's project today. We want to get some clear painted on the fairing as the number one priority to move that job along. We're coming down the home stretch, a couple more things left to do. But we waited patiently for a day that was going to be very nice for painting, and today is that day. I hope the paint's going to flow out and dry up the way I like. We're going to see if it's our lucky day. So the first thing, I always try to evaluate what parts I have to use up a really good painting day. I have the fairing previously sanded with 400, ready for paint, ready for clear. I always have at least one part ready for final sanding and buffing. And we're moving right along on this project, luckily. But the one thing that we haven't had a lot of is good weather for painting clear. And when I paint clear, it's a big advantage if the wind isn't blowing, as an example for painting those Buell fairings. But we have a brand new fresh gallon of Gavco. We're ready to load up the gun and get some painting done and use this day. The whole idea is to use this day efficiently. I got some new cartridges for the mask. That's always a good idea too. This is a Harbor Freight mask and it works fine. Now the normal prep is wiping down a part with, I use M600. Any prep ball, Prepsol, any of the common degreasers, a good idea. Make sure it's perfectly clean, tack rag it down, get it ready, and mix up the paint. Of course, we're using Gavco Clear. It's a 4-to-1 mix, and this is the part of it that I try to pay strict attention. Don't talk to somebody. You want to get the mix right. And in the past, I have got it wrong. And I know that's not funny when it happens. And it can ruin your whole day. But anyway, I always stir it with a steel rod, not a wood stick. Clean the lid, tape the top. These guns, they're very inexpensive guns from Harbor Freight. They tend to drip at the top. Now once I know I have a good day for painting, I always want to try to maximize the day. In this case, I got a relatively early start. I basically had the whole rest of the day, and it was supposed to get nicer and nicer and warmer. Well, the good thing is I want to get the first coat on. This is a relatively light coat. I want to keep the gun moving. Lightly go over it over and over, not try to blow on one big coat like you're painting a car. And then get this part put aside. Now normally I would wait half hour, 45 minutes. But while I'm waiting, I can be painting the Buell part. So this will add a little efficiency to a day. Because these days, this time of year, you don't get a lot of days like this to putting on clear. And with the wind not being howling out there, see, on a windy day, this part would tend to be blowing and moving. And the fairings, I'm always afraid they're just going to blow into the neighbor's yard. And ask me how I know that can happen. But I really wanted to take my time on this. And this is just a super critical part of getting that first coat on, letting it tack out, putting it aside to dry for a while, and we work on the Buell in the meantime. Now before I put this part of the first coat aside to dry, I want to, and this really gets tricky. There's times a part is really hard to handle. This is one of them. I wanted to get all the inside edges and corners. I wanted to check any spot that I might have that doesn't look like it has a good coat of clear on. And this is really a critical step. That's why I didn't put this in fast forward. I wanted to show how you have to rotate the part. Now these areas, yeah, you do get to spray them when the part is laying on the table, but it's so much better if you have a situation like this where you can candle it. I'm using the sun to reflect like a mirror, so that I can see what parts still need a little bit of clear. You can see there's quite a nice coat of clear on there. Now the idea, of course, is to get a lot of thin coats on. one big heavy thick coat, oh, you have problems. It tends to run. It doesn't dry. I've found it doesn't dry for a week, sometimes before you can buff it out. To me, I have always learned a lot of thin coats is better than one thick coat. And if you can let it dry on a day like today, it's warming up by the minute. This'll probably be in the 60s by this afternoon. It'll dry up beautifully. So while our first coat on the BMW fairing is drying, I'm prepping up the Buell parts. Now normally I would wait. I'd go have a cup of coffee, or I'd go polish the motorcycle, or whatever, feed the fish. But what I wanted to do, I wanted to try to use as much of this day, which was an exceptional day for doing this, because there wasn't high wind, and it's coming up into the 60s here. I'm getting hot already. But getting these parts all prepped and cleaned a day or two ahead of time, that means a day like today, I don't waste. I would normally have to waste half of the day sanding and then go out and have a half a day to shoot clear. Today I had a whole day to shoot clear. Now the day was getting sunnier and warmer, which is in my favor, but here I can, with the sun out now, I can candle how I'm putting the clear on a lot better, candling it every step of the way. And again, this part in particular, the side fairings of the Buell, the person that put the original clear on this, Vlad, was not happy with the job. In fact, he was really unhappy. And I put a lot of work into sanding around that horse and being real careful not to go through. So now I want to bury it in clear, but while I'm doing it, I want to get as much clear on as I possibly can today, because this is such an exceptional day. And this time of year, to have a day like this, I normally would be going riding today for sure, but this is a day that it just was perfect for doing this part of the job. And being able to do the Buell parts, you can see how that paint is laying down. I'm really happy that I was able to use this day and use it efficiently and get these out onto the table where I can see them a lot better. And I thought this was just coming out just perfect. Now, after a quick cup of coffee, I got the other part out, and the same thing with this. We're trying to get a lot of extra clear around the horse, around all the paint edges. And again, this is not just take apart and paint it. We're trying to get extra clear wherever there's a paint edge, around the perimeter of the part, so it's nice and smooth after it's buffed out. And most of all, where that logo is, and I assume that's a horse's head, maybe it's a dragon or something, I don't know. But I wanted to get that enough there that when I'm all done with this job and it's buffed out, I can run my hand over that and close my eyes and I can't feel where that is. We're gonna try to do that. Also, there's a decal on the tank that's very, very thick. I'm gonna try to do that on the tank cover too. But as this day played out, it just got warmer and more, exceptionally warm. It was a t-shirt day, and this time of year, that is really, really unusual. Now, another little tip I give out to on all the tutorial videos is whenever I spray, my hand really never comes off the trigger. I'm spraying and spraying and spraying, and when I go off, now I'll spray out in midair and then move the gun out onto the part, and then take the gun off the part, and I don't know if that comes across clear. And of course, at the end, I have to really, really look around because this is such a complex part, and if I skip miss even one step, when I'm going to buff it out, I'm going to have to do the whole part over with more clear. And this part's a super labor intensive as it is. I don't want to make it any more labor intensive. I'm trying my best to do all this work as efficiently as possible. Now, I just couldn't believe by coming up on the end of this day how lucky we were to have this day to shoot clear, because the shooting of the clear, without a good day, if the wind was blowing, doing these fairings would be really, really difficult. So the point that I wanted to make, and it's a good point if you do paint like I do outdoors, you want to really wait for a good day. It always pays in the long run. Patience always pays. I know if you have a spray booth, you can just go through this a lot easier and quicker, but we don't have a spray booth. And the point I always try to make, and I try to make it on all the videos, is you don't need $1 million worth of equipment to do a really nice job. You need to know how to do it. Number one, you need somebody to help you over the hard spots, which that's my job, and I try to do that as efficiently as I can. You need what basically amounts to be an under $20 spray gun from Harbor Freight. Any compressor will do that. It'll compress air. Even a small one will do. You just can't work as fast. But if you're doing a motorcycle, it's not like painting a car. So what I would encourage people, and I've friends all over the world that have said, I watched a video, I went and painted my bike. And that's true. It's not something I'm making up. And being able to do it, to me, my passion for motorcycling is when all of the bikes in my garage, I've restored them, renovated them, customized them, whatever, painted the wheels, painted them, did everything. I like the idea that I can do it all myself. I don't like to farm out things to anybody. And I do enjoy making the YouTube videos, and I do enjoy the people that send me pictures of their projects to share. We put those on the question and answer videos. But at the end of a day like this, it's very, very rewarding. Now, for sure, this was a day, if we weren't working on Vlad's projects, I would have been out riding or up by the Ducati place or whatever. But looking around the shop at the end of the day, I know I've used this day very productively to move all three of these restorations in the right direction. Well, in the last couple of days, we got quite a bit of work done on this, and we've been doing it sequentially, so we always have something. So a day like today comes, we had 3 parts ready to put the clear on, and if it rains or snows or whatever tomorrow, we don't know, but we'll have parts drying, and we'll have parts ready to sand, and we'll have parts ready to buff. And this job just, it seems like it goes on forever, and it does, because it's a lot of work. And that's why a lot of people start a job like this and they never finish it. That's a shame. But anyway, this I think is going to be probably the pride of Vlad's fleet very soon. And it's really coming out better than you think on video, right? Now this season, the weather over the winter was kind of crazy, but I did get a lot of riding in. But the back roads of North Jersey and lower New York are calling, and it's not going to be long. We're going to have these projects finished, and we'll be out riding almost every day. And we try to post a video almost every day, but that can vary. We try to work on our evil twins. We try to hang out with our comrade friends, of course, and we never want to forget the two-stroke part of our life that is long gone, but we've never forgotten it. But I try to, like I say, I try to post a video almost every day, because most of my friends have a real passion for motorcycling. A lot of them like to do their own work. They like to mount their own tires and do their own paintwork and do their own modifications, and some don't, but it's okay. We can all be friends. In fact, we can be great friends because of one thing. We do share something that not everybody is blessed with. We all share, or you wouldn't be watching this far into the video. You wouldn't be watching it. The passion for motorcycling. That when that sunny day comes and you've finished your cup of coffee or your bagel, you grab the handlebars and get out on the open road. And thanks so much for watching.